is Isabella Ray? Let's dive in. Isabella, also known as Izzy, was born on November 23, 2002. She grew up in a small home in Marksville, Louisiana with her mom, dad, and stepbrother. Her father worked as a grocery store cashier during the day and worked as a bartender during the night. Her mother was a fast food worker at Burger King, and her name was Haley Wilton. Isabella and Haley did not have a good bond with one another since Haley always showed her daughter that she has no care for her at all. Haley's relationship with Izzy was similar with her brothers, except Haley always ignored Izzy's brother instead of nagging at everything he does like she would do her. Her brother's name was Bradley Rutherford, also known as Brad. Brad and Izzy didn't have the best relationship either. The two rarely talked to each other, mainly because of the fact that Brad didn't like the idea of him having a little stepsister. The day he completely stopped talking to her was the day Isabella purposely placed his pet hamster in a microwave and left it running inside for a full minute. She was 7 at the time, and that's when her parents, well, her dad specifically, got concerned. Isaac Ray, Isabella's birth father. When Izzy was born, he had no other choice but to help take care of her with Haley. Unfortunately, he's not as good as Isabella makes him seem in the book. Isaac had been a drug addict and an alcoholic for years, which got him fired from his job at being a cashier. He served a few months in jail because of the cops being called to him by Haley for aggressively pushing her into the wall. And that's how he got fired from his second job and became completely jobless. Now back to Isabella. No one found out that she had a disorder until the whole hamster situation happened, because that's when her dad booked her a doctor's appointment, and it was confirmed that Isabella had EUBD, Emotionally Unstable Personality Disorder. Since Isabella was really young at the time, she was given medication. Also because her parents definitely couldn't afford her therapy, which was over $2,000 for a month, since her behavior was just so poor. So Isaac got back into work and they helped his daughter get the money she needs for therapy, whilst Haley would waste any money she earned by buying fancy items for herself, going out to parties. Meanwhile, Isabella was given a personal counselor in school who goes by the name of Leslie, but she wasn't actually a counselor. She was just a 7th grader who suited being a personal guidance for younger kids at the school. That didn't make Isabella open up to her, though. In fact, she hated her. She didn't have a reason why, she just hated her. There were no other relationships that Isabella had at her school except for one boy, Connor Reed. The two had met when Isabella was assigned a reading buddy in 4th grade, and Connor had read a story about bubble guppies to her because it was clear that the higher level reading books weren't not for Isabella, which is why Connor was there to help. They didn't become friends until after Connor was no longer her reading buddy and Isabella was in 5th grade when someone tried to rip her hair out and Connor and a few other students just happened to be in the hallway. But Connor wasn't aware of her disorder until he walked her to the counselor's office afterwards and realized that the counselor was a girl in his class, which is not normal to someone just passing by. So of course there were questions. And it didn't take long for them to become friends because since that day, Connor was asked to walk and stay with Isabella during her counseling sessions because Leslie noticed that when he's with her, that's when she talks. Everything seemed to be going well until March 13, 2014. Isabella woke up from her nap to the sound of sirens outside and bangs on the door from her brother. Isabella never mentions exactly what she saw, but she does state that she knew it was her dad they were here for when she spied her mom out the window standing in front of an ambulance. Izzy freaked out so badly that she had to get one of those needles injected into her arm to put her off into a deep sleep. So that's why it's mainly unknown about what happened to her father since she was asleep for 3 days and no one updated her on the situation. The only thing her mom told her was that he was gone when she asked. Now living without her dad, things have changed, only for Isabella though. Haley and Brad continued living a normal life while Izzy was cramped in her room for a few months. When she finally did get the courage to get up out of her bed, she made an arrangement to meet with Connor at a skate park. Her brother found out some way and made a plan to break her skateboard and record her reaction when she gets to it the next day. He was doing this with his friends. The purpose was for YouTube and upload it to the channel for funny content because he knew she had a disorder and would flip out badly. And that's exactly what she did. And once it was all recorded, he published it onto the media, not thinking that overnight it would actually go viral. Millions of people saw it all over the internet, and thousands were laughing at her or making fun of her, not knowing who she is and the disorder she has. Instead of her mother trying to make her daughter feel better about the whole situation, she thought this was a perfect opportunity to push her onto the media and do more when the news articles and large creators started reacting to it. She refused to keep her daughter's name private. She wanted everyone to know who she was. Even though Isabella was being ridiculed on the internet for months, her mother failed to mention that her daughter has a disorder, which is why she acted the way she did in the video her brother posted. But sadly, that's Isabella Ray, and before she was famous. She got famous unexpectedly and for the wrong reasons. And since her mom enjoyed her daughter's fame, she had Isabella do things like dance and go on her shows to increase that fame. She stands today with 16,900,000 followers on Instagram due to all the things she's involved in her whole life. Her disorder eventually gets put out there by Isabella herself in an interview, but she doesn't mention it a lot because it ends up reminding her how she got famous, and that's not a memory that she wants to keep.